Now I start with Dr. Narendra S. Chowdhury, Director, VNIT Nagpur, and Mr. Irshad Khan, Director, Zeus Numerics Private Limited. Dr. Chowdhury may kindly remain on stage. May I now request Mr. Jaydev Nanda, CEO, Adani Power Limited, to please come up on stage. Now I request Professor Anurag Kumar, Director, IISc Bangalore, and Mr. Sandeep Dikshit, AVP and Head, Adani Center for Research and Performance Consulting, Adani Energy Business. May I also request Mr. Arun Mote, Executive Director, Triveni Turbine Limited, to come up on stage, please. Thank you. I now request Professor Gautam Biswas, Director, IIT Guwahati, to kindly come up on stage. They will be signing 3 separate MOUs. First, I call upon Mr. Abhishek Dave, Director, Buma Energy Ventures Limited, Private Limited. The second is with Mr. Ashok Sethi, CEO and ED Tata Power. The third is with Mr. Dev Ranjan Mukherjee, Head Corporate Affairs, Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. Thank you, Professor Biswas. I now request Dr. Shivaji Chakravarti, Director, NIT Calicut, to kindly come up on stage. Mr. K.E. Shanawaz, Joint MD, PK Limited, Castings Private Limited. I request Mr. M.B. Naushad, Managing Director, Vikse Elastomers Private Limited, to kindly come up on stage. I now request Professor Indranil Manna, Director, IIT Kanpur, to kindly come up on stage, and Mr. Sunil Khanna, Chairman, CII Maharashtra State Council and President, Managing Director, Emerson Network Power India Private Limited. Thank you, Mr. Manna and Mr. Khanna. I request Professor Ram Gopal Rao, Director, IIT Delhi, and Mr. Sumant Sinha, Chairman and CEO, RE New Power. Thank you both. I now request Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, Director, IIT Madras, to kindly come up on stage. He will have many MOUs to sign. I now first call upon Mr. Sanjeev Sharma, Country Manager, Director, ABB Limited first. Second, I call upon Mr. Purushothaman Ravichandran, President, Danfoss. IIT Madras also will sign 3 MOUs with Mahindra and Mahindra. I request you both to kindly exchange the 3 MOUs. Thank you, Professor Ramamurthy, for having the zest to sign the maximum number of MOUs. I request now Lieutenant General, retired Zamaruddin Shah, Vice Chancellor, Aligarh Muslim University, and Dr. Arvind S. Bardwaj, Senior VP, Advanced Technologies and Services of Mahindra Limited. Thank you, sirs. I now request Dr. Mohammad Saad Alam, Coordinator, Center of Advanced Research in Electrified Transportation, Aligarh Muslim University, and Dr. Divik A. CEO, Go Green EOT Energy Things Private Limited. Thank you both. I now call upon Professor Mirza Mohammad Sufyan Beg, Principal, Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology, Aligarh Muslim University, and Indian Smart Grid Forum representative from from the CII would be exchanging the MOU. Thank you both. I now request Dr. Yasser Rafat, Coordinator, Center for Advanced Research in Electrified Transportation, Aligarh Muslim University, and Mr. Vineet Bansal, Managing Director, EV Motors India Private Limited, to come up on stage. Thank you, sirs. I now request Professor Javed Akhtar, Registrar, Aligarh Muslim University, and Mr. Gill, CEO, Global Business Hero Eco Companies. Thank you both. I request Professor Sarit Kumar Das, Director, IIT Ropar, and Dr. He Sudhakar Reddy, Technical Director, RayChem Innovation Center, RayChem RPG Private Limited. I now request Mr. H.S. Chima, Managing Director, Chima Boilers Limited, to exchange MOU with Professor Sarit Kumar Das, Director, IIT Ropar. I request Dr. Lalit Kumar Ashwadi, Director, NIT Jalandhar, and Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, Senior Manager, Program Management, Sapient, to come upon stage and exchange the MOUs. Thank you, sirs. I now request Dr. Lalit Kumar Ashwadi, Director, NIT Jalandhar, and Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, Senior Manager, Program Management, Sapient, to exchange the MOU. Okay. Then I request Professor Ram Babu Kodali, Director, NIT Jamshedpur, and Dr. S.K. Singh, Chief Capability Development, Tata Steel, to exchange the MOU. I request Professor Anjan K. Ghosh, Vice Chancellor, Tripura University, and Mr. Kamal Kishore Chowdhury, President, All India Rubber Industries Association, to kindly exchange MOU. I request Air Vice Marshal Nain Kumar Tandon, Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University, and Mr. Kishore J. Raman, CEO, Rolls-Royce India, to exchange MOUs. I suppose we will get a free ride on the Rolls-Royce, sir. Is a part of the MOU. I now request Mr. Sandeep Bal, Program Director, US India Aviation Corporation Program, and Air Vice Marshal Nalin Kumar Tandon, Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi National University, to exchange the MOU. I also request Mr. Pulaksan, Founder, Secretary General, MRO Association of India, to exchange the MOU with Air Vice Marshal Nalin Kumar Tandon. Now, I now request Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Vice Chancellor of JNU, to kindly exchange the MOU with Ms. Shalini Sharma, Head Education, CII, on behalf of Messieurs Shanmukha Innovations Private Limited. I also request Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Vice Chancellor, JNU University, to exchange MOU with Mr. Rajiv Das Gupta, National Manager, Business Development, Eurofilms Clinical Genetics Private Limited. I also request Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Vice Chancellor, JNU, to sign MOU with Mr. Dilip Bidani, Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Lal Path Labs Limited. I request Dr. R. Srinivas, Project Director, NIPR Hyderabad, to exchange MOU with Dr. K.V. Surendranath, Senior Vice President, Global Sites, United States Pharmacopeal Convention. I request Dr. R. Srinivas, Project Director, NIPR Hyderabad, to exchange MOU with Dr. Lakshmikant Gandikota, Vice President, Pharma Biological E Limited. I request Dr. Gopal Mukherjee, Director NIE Agartala, to exchange MOU with Mr. A.G. West Kharkongar, CMD, NIPCO. I also request Director NIT Agartala to exchange MOU with Mr. S.C. Soni, Executive Director, ONGC. I also request Director NIT Agartala to exchange MOU with Mr. Radha Alekia, Director, iBuild Innovations India Private Limited. I now request Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, Director, IIT Patna, to exchange MOU with Mr. Akash Agarwal, Director, New Leaf Dynamic Limited. I request Professor Bhattacharya to exchange MOU with Mr. Naresh Kumar, Chief Technical Officer, Tektronix. I now request Dr. S. Birendra Singh, Director, NIT Manipur, to exchange MOU with Mr. Ripan Tikku, CEO, Powai Labs Technology Private Limited. I now request Professor Talat Hamad, Vice Chancellor, Jamia Millia Islamia, to exchange MOU with Mr. S.K. Soni, Chief Executive Officer, POSCO. I now request Dr. Lata Pillai, Director, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, to exchange MOU with Mr. P. Padmakumar, Team Leader and Head CSR, Saint Gobain, India. I now request Professor Devang V. Kakkar, Director, IIT Mumbai, to exchange MOU with Mr. Ravi Nangia, Managing Director, Harmony Organics. I also request Professor Kakkar to exchange MOU with M. Devesh, Managing Director, MBO Limited. Professor Kakkar again to exchange MOU with Sunil Dattajirao Mohite, Proprietor, Jayashree Machine Tools Limited. I request Professor Kakkar to exchange MOU with Dr. Vinod Verma, Assistant Vice President, Corporate Affairs, Hindalco Industries. Professor Kakkar again to exchange MOU with Mr. Narendra Bahati, Director, Future Consumer Limited, FCL. I request Professor Kakkar again to exchange MOU with Mr. P.U. Gopi, VP CTO, Triveni Turbine Limited. Professor Kakkar again to exchange MOU with Mr. Rishi Bhatnagar, President, Porter's Cap India Private Limited. Professor Kakkar to exchange MOU with Dr. Ganesh, Director, Corporate Engineering 2, Cummins Research and Development. Thank you for your endurance, Professor Kakkar. I now request Professor Ajay Kumar Ray, Director, IIEST, Shibpur, to exchange MOU with Mr. Ganesh Chaudhary, MD and CEO, Vikram Solar. I request Professor Ajay Kumar, Director, IEST, Shibpur, to exchange MOU with Mr. B.D. Mundra, Chairman, Emeritus, Simplex Infrastructures Limited. Professor Ajay Kumar Ray to exchange MOU with Mr. Indranil Das, CMD, Synchro Electronics. Mr. Ajay Kumar to exchange MOU with Mr. Anand Bhade, President, Asia Pacific Tata Technologies Limited. I now request Professor G.R.C. Reddy, Director in Charge, NIT Warangal, to exchange MOU with Mr. Mani Iyer, Managing Director, Incubate Ventures Private Limited. Professor Reddy to exchange MOU with Mr. Srikant Nori, Managing Director, GeoVista Technologies Private Limited. I request Professor G.R.C. Reddy to exchange MOU with Mr. B. Srinivas Murthy, CEO, CII IT Solutions Private Limited. I request Professor G.R.C. Reddy to exchange MOU with Mr. R. Nanda Kishore, Managing Partner, Sri Mangadu Business Corporation. I request Professor G.R.C. Reddy to exchange MOU with Mr. Krishna Mohan Bodapati, Managing Director, Infotrans Engineers Private Limited. Thank you, sir. I now request Professor R.K. Kohli, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Punjab, to exchange MOU with Dr. Arvind Kapoor, Managing Director, Rasi High Weg Private Limited. I now request Dr. U.S.N. Murthy, Director, NIPR Guwahati, to exchange MOU with Dr. A.K.S. Bhujanga Rao, President, Technical and R&D, NATCO Research Center. I now request K.K. Bhutani, Officiating Director, NIPR Mohali, to exchange MOU with Dr. Sudeep Sabde, Associate Scientific Manager, R&D, Bicon Research Limited. I now request Dr. V. Ravichandran, Director, NIPR Kolkata, to exchange MOU with Mr. Chandra Mohan Chabre, Corporate Manager, ASG Biochem. I request Dr. V. Ravichandran to exchange MOU with Dr. A.V. Murugandam, Director, R&D, Natrion Incorporated. I request Dr. V. Ravichandran, Director, NIPR, to exchange MOU with Mr. Nakul Verma, Senior Director, Public Affairs, Sanofi India Limited. I now request Professor Anand Kumar Yadav, Indu Vice Chancellor, Central University of Jharkhand, to exchange MOU with Dr. Ajay Pradhan, President and CEO, C2S2 Private Limited. Professor Nanda Kumar to exchange MOU with Mr. Sachidanand Rai, Director, Eco Water Solution Technologies Private Limited.